Sir?
I'm Charles Rucks from Springfield, Massachusetts. That's where I entered the academy from. I was actually born in a little town called Brookhaven, Mississippi, 11 days after my mother turned 17 and my father was 19, and moved to Springfield when I was 6 months old. I'd always done well in school. My parents demanded it. I was fortunate that both my parents were young parents, and they were very involved. I've had 4 siblings. And what I am as a human being, I got from my mother. But what I am as a man, I got from my father. And my mother used to tell me, you know how mothers are, son, put on clean underwears, don't have any holes in your socks, you know, put on clean pants and the Lord will bless you. And my father would call me over. He said, son, you need to do what your mother tells you to do because she's telling you right. But even when you do all that you're supposed to do, and you do it well, you still may not get your due. And you cannot allow that to defeat you. And I was on an undefeated football team in high school. I went to a college prep open enrollment public high school. I came to the academy. My best friend went to Hampton as a physician in Texas. The quarterback that lived 2 blocks from me graduated from Dartmouth, and the wide receiver and the middle linebacker, both black, graduated from Columbia. That was an undefeated football team on an open enrollment public high school. When it was my junior year and my counselor talked to me about maybe considering one of the service academies, my goal at the time was to go to Columbia. And in fact, after I was accepted to Annapolis, my high school math teacher kind of let it slip out one time. We were talking that she thought I was making a mistake going to Annapolis. And I said, well, Mrs. Bale, why? And she said, Charles, she said, you really have an aptitude for math, and I would like to see you go to Columbia and be a mathematician. And I really appreciated that concern that she had for me, that insight that she had into my personality and my talent. I got here as a plebe. That first night, come yelling in my ears, and I wasn't used to that, because my old man wasn't the type to yell. But you know, years later, I talked to my father, and he said he could tell I was struggling. He said, that boy's having a tough time there. And he prayed for me. And my mother prayed, my grandmother prayed. And in addition to the fellas, I started boxing, and Coach Emerson Smith would talk to me. He said, take it easy, jump. He said, you're going to be all right. And so, you know, I was 3-time brigade champion. I would go see Walt run track. Eddie play football. We supported each other. And then the mighty Kizer on the wrestling mat. Bam! That's how the referee would do. And it turned out to be a very key time, certainly in my development, and a time that I really enjoyed. And one thing I can say that I got from Annapolis that maybe I would not have gotten had I gone any other place is I know what excellence is. I know what excellence is. When Walt Crump, Butch Keaser, Jay McMillan, a Charlie Bolden, a John Porter. I know what excellence is, and I saw a Tony Watson, a Leo Williams. Guys who were just brilliant in each of their own way. Tony went into nuclear power, he took aerospace engineering, and yes, that is rocket science. And it's always, since I've graduated, I've tried to carry myself in a way that would make others proud of my association with the school. And I've tried to talk to young people about the opportunities that would be available here. My daughter's 33. When she was in high school, I mentioned it to her, said, you can follow in my footsteps in the Marine Corps, I'll teach you everything I know. And she asked me, had I lost my mind? But it's a place, that camaraderie. I think Nelson mentioned the 27 of us in the whole school. Our plebe year, 14 of us were in that plebe class. And it was a time when political correctness was not the order of the day. And people did not care about letting you down easy, did not care about your psyche, told you right off the bat, you got 1,500 of you here, 4 years from now, 1/3 of you won't be here. So look to your left and look to your right, because one of you are going to be gone. But the Master's in heaven, and we have an obligation. I try to tell young people, be all that you can be all that you ought to be all that the Master would have you to be. God bless you.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Sir.
Hello, my name is Walt Crump. I entered the Naval Academy from small town America. I actually went to high school in Ashtabula, Ohio, which is about 50 miles northeast of Cleveland. A coach from the football team named Lee Corso came to our school, recruiting athletes for the Naval Academy. My guidance counselor invited me down to meet him. And since I was a student athlete at my school, I talked to Lee, and that was the first mention I had ever heard of the Naval Academy. Since then, I followed up with the Naval Academy entrance procedures. I applied to my congressman, my senator. I also applied to the Coast Guard Academy, which I got an appointment to, and I also had a scholarship to Cornell University. But I ended up with an appointment from my state senator, primary appointment, to the Naval Academy, and I accepted that, came in 1968 with the rest of these fellows here. When I was looking for a place to go to college, my main concern was two things. One of them was the price. The other one was I wanted to try to find the hardest school in the country that I could go to. I wanted to find what was the hardest place for me to go, because I needed a challenge. You gotta give me a challenge. And the Naval Academy had one for me.
Be careful what you ask for. Right?
It surpassed my expectations. From the first day that I arrived there to this day, the friends that I made in this room have always been on my side. We've been on each other's side. And like some of the others have mentioned, we've supported each other in our own ways. What is unique and remarkable about the experience is the fact that we have a bond that we can't describe. The bond is there, it's really deep, and it's undescribable, because we became family. We became almost closer than family. I'm a member of a number of organizations, a number of groups, fraternity. There's nothing even comes close to the association that we have with each other. During my time at Annapolis, I had a number of challenges, and I had a number of successes. But what the Academy really taught me was how to deal with and overcome adversity, disappointment, and challenges. And it sticks to me to this day. You can't throw anything at me, but I won't stand up and at least try to deal with it. I'll stand right up and look it in the face and let's go. But that's part of my makeup. It's part of what I've been conditioned to be able to handle and do. And I take that with me everywhere. After I got out of the academy, I went in the Marine Corps, like 8 of the other members of the dozen. And I stayed in the Marine Corps for 5 years, and then I went into private industry as an engineer in Detroit with Ford, and I've had other jobs since then in that industry. But what I really take away from my experience at the Naval Academy was the fact that it gave me the opportunity to deal with these challenges and to make some sincere associations with other people, and to be able to understand how strong those associations are and how they need to be kept up.
Thank you, sir. Lloyd?
My name is Lloyd Kizer. People who really know me as Butch. I was Butch since I was about 3 months old. My mom always wanted a Butch in the family, and I was the first male born, and I became Butch. I grew up about 26 miles from here in a community called Pumphrey, Maryland, just outside of Baltimore City. And Mom and Dad believed in a lot of hard work, accountability, and you can pretty much accomplish anything you want if you set your mind to it. And so along the way, they instilled in us that you want to go to college. We didn't know how we go to college, we were poor. We should have been welfare, but Mom and Dad refused to go there. So they're scratching their head, one way to go to college is to get a scholarship. And so Butch Kizer was going to work on getting a scholarship academically and athletically. And so I was pretty much on that path through the school system, doing well in multiple sports. In my sophomore year in high school, I got pulled aside by my wrestling coach, and he knew that I wanted to go into the United States Marine Corps. I wanted to be a Marine ever since I was about a big. Watch TV movies and seeing, how the Marines, fought battles all over the world, and said we wanted the few and those who weren't willing to step up to the challenge. And I said I wanted to face that challenge. And so along the way, my coach said, what are you going to do when you graduate from high school? I'm going to enlist in the Marine Corps. He said, here's what you're going to do. You need to consider the United States Naval Academy. I'm like, you guys, Naval Academy, what is that? He said, you know about the Army-Navy game? I said, oh yeah. I thought it was just Navy guys and Army guys. I said, no. I live 26 miles from here in a black community, and I asked my mom and dad about the Naval Academy, and they said, we knew about it, but no one talks about it because blacks don't go there. We never had an opportunity to do it. So basically, they found out that I wanted to pursue that, and my wrestling coach's father happened to be the Secretary of Athletics here at the Naval Academy. So he brought some people down to kind of introduce me to it, the wrestling coach. My high school soccer teammate's brother was an All-American lacrosse player here. My high school teammate eventually came here, as well as his younger brothers. He had 3 brothers in the same family. So I had the feel for the Naval Academy before I got here. I was not fortunate to get the primary nomination. I was a qualified alternate, the first guy on the list. And so I didn't know until the very end whether I was getting in or not. Everybody else knew, and Coach kept saying, just be patient. Your scores academically, athletically, and leadership-wise are extremely high. So out of the pool, about 500 people across the country, you were going to be pretty much a shoe-in to get in. So I didn't know what I was coming until probably May of that year. I was recruited as a blue-chip athlete, soccer and wrestling. And that's one of the things that drew me here, was that it was a top 20 soccer program, top 20 wrestling program, and also I wanted to major in engineering. And I was a wallflower, and they talked about you get pretty girls that came down here, they were in uniform. So, so close by. So all those things kind of like said that's what I wanted to do. And I came on board, and when I got here, I've been educated on how the upperclassmen would be putting pressure on you, torturing you. Not torture, we don't say that. They're basically...
You can say that.
Hazing.
You can say that.
Let them edit it out.
The thing that helped me, though, was that Lenny Supco, who was the class of 70, the All-American here, he said, when you come down here, it's a big game. The upperclassmen are trying to challenge you, and that's why we go through all the, some people say harassment, it's not that, but just stress testing you. And basically, it's a big act. Okay? As long as you realize that, and it's not personal, just laugh off on the inside. So I would have a game with myself internally when people start yelling and screaming sometimes. Inside, I almost laugh sometimes because it was almost comical. But the biggest thing was I came from a black community. We integrated shortly before I got here. Predominantly white schools that helped soften the cultural divide a little bit more. But when I got here, overwhelmed by 4,000 plus, and just only a few of us, just to see, Earl, right down the hall, and Eddie not too far away, and then you got to know guys on the other side of the world, just to walk around and seeing that there are other people like you there, made you feel that, hey, there's a little bit of home here, you got some other brothers that are here that have some common background, and as we got to know each other over the years, it made you feel that everybody kind of had each other's back, and pretty much you kind of pick each other along the way, but you all can kind of push through it together. And to have, 12 graduate out of 14 is a pretty high percentage of folks coming in out of a pool of people to make it through. I had a lot of success here in athletics. So as a result, people tended to treat me differently as a freshman. I think we had an undefeated soccer team on the freshman team, and then I did very well in wrestling. And so my biggest challenge here was the academic side initially, primarily because it was hard to balance being a top-tier athlete and the academics. And then the biggest challenge was swimming. I almost quit my junior year. I was almost in tears and called my dad and said, I can't make it. I would visibly shake before I went to a swim class, because you jump in the pool and you go to swim, and it was Lawrence. He would drop in the pool and it's like a cork. And just said, just do this. I drop in the pool and I go straight to the bottom, walk across the bottom and do push-ups. And so I didn't want to do the technique, because if you're going to do it, I go across the pool and I almost drowned. My peers saved me. They didn't save me, I saved myself. I grabbed an arm, I grabbed a leg, and said, "You're going down with me." He got me out of the pool, and I just said I couldn't make it. So I called my dad, and then he said that, Jesus don't quit, and whatever, just hang in there. And so I hung in, and that was one of the best decisions I ever made. It still didn't help improve the swimming aspect of it, but that was probably my toughest challenge. I had a chance to graduate from the academy, do well here, and go on to win a world title in wrestling, wrestled in the Olympics, and win a silver medal. Was alternate on the 72 team, medalist on the 76 team. And I look back, Byron asked me the other day, said, which was tougher? Have an opportunity to participate in the Olympics, or managing going through the Naval Academy. That's a tough one there. I said, they're very close, extremely close. But it's not like a quick, easy process. I mean, it's extremely challenging. You got to push through this unbelievable amount of high quality competition, peers, etc., and over a long period of time. But I do feel that the Naval Academy had a tremendous impact on my Olympic journey, because once I made it through here, there's nothing else that can compare. Olympics came very close to that. And what I found, though, in the Olympic experience amongst my peers, not only in wrestling but other sports, the attributes of the Naval Academy graduate was extremely, they were pretty much identical. If those folks tried, they had all those qualities of an Olympian. So I was fortunate and blessed to have an opportunity to be a part of two of the top organizations as viewed by society. And both of them, I never realized just how much of impact those two had on my life until after I graduated from the Naval Academy and after I won the Olympics. And watching how people responded when you say that I'm a Naval Academy graduate and that I won a medal in Olympic Games. The doors open and those kind of things like that. So I treasure those moments to this day, to the point where when I walk on the Academy grounds each year and do like clinics and those kind of things, I get goosebumps. Parade fist, just sitting there watching the mids, I get goosebumps. She said, just calm down a little bit, but it's just that, I don't know, get a chance to serve your country, come to this organization like this, and I didn't have some of the experience a lot of my peers did because of my circumstances, but in the Marine Corps, it was an exciting time for me because I found guys went out of their way to come to salute me, especially the African Americans. We got, down in Camp Lejeune, some didn't see any of us out there. I think it was like 1.2% of the rank at that time. They said normally we would try to avoid saluting an officer. No, I'm looking down here, I look that way there, but they would jump out. So for me, it was one of the most challenging experiences I've ever had in my life. But I tell people I enjoyed the academy. You know, I really enjoyed my time here.
So we're not going to let you get by with that, though. You said you did very well at the academy. What were you, 3-time All-American? 2-time All-American?
2-time All-American.
2-time All-American. Yeah, that's pretty good. Better than very well.
He broke his right hand, used to do 61-arm left-handed push-ups.
All right. Well, thanks for that. Appreciate that history. I think alumni need to know the rich diversity that we have around the table, so thank you for that. Sir?
My name is Omar Smith. I'm from a little town in South Jersey called Richland. I'm the oldest of 5, firstborn. I wish somebody had told me that he was a, you know, beforehand that he was a All-American candidate and top wrestler. Could do push-ups, all those push-ups with one hand. I didn't find out until the summer, plebe summer, when Coach Perry put Lloyd and I together in the wrestling match. I didn't know the brother was wrestling like that. All I could think about was, let me go. Please, let me go. I wrestled in high school. I was 123 pounds, which was a little bit heavier than me. But we were together there, and that was the last of my wrestling career. I did go on to go into boxing, and I think I was the first man in the class of '72 to win a varsity left. So I'm proud of that. I boxed at 135 pounds, along with Charlie. But I grew up in a very, very small town. We had maybe one traffic light. It was a blinker light, actually. And I went to an integrated high school, integrated school system. And like my brothers here, we come from families that expected excellence. What's so different about that time and times probably years prior, and maybe today, is that expectation was backed up by some significant consequences if, you know, if you didn't come through with your part in terms of being, you know, just obedient and respectful. But we always competed in the academically. When it came to colleges, I knew I was going to college. It was just a matter of where. I applied to Rochester Institute of Technology, Drexel University, Lehigh. It wasn't until my junior year that one of my counselors happened to mention service academies, Naval Academy. And I think I was aware of West Point, I think Air Force Academies, Naval Academy, but I had never considered it. And I thought about it, and I said, you know, I don't know if I really want to go, but let me start the process. I can always say no. You know, I can always say no. And I'm so glad I did that. And I tell young people today, you know, just always put yourself in a position where you have options. Okay? You can always say no. You don't have to take them. But if you never initiate the process, if you never do your part, you'll never have the choice to make. I can't remember calling home and saying, I need to leave here. You know, I don't think I'm going to make it. But I do remember one specific time in my plebe year when I walked out of the rotunda, stood on the top steps of Bancroft Hall there at, you know, the main court, looking over at Tecumseh, and I looked toward gate past the chapel, and I really seriously contemplated walking out, saying, I don't really have to go through all this. Can't remember everything that led up to that, but you know, just I think like a lot of us, you know, at one time or another, you know, felt that enough is enough. You don't have to put up with all this. But just like the rest of my brothers here, we're not quitters. I don't think we really understand what it is to quit. And these guys have really meant a lot to me over the years, over many years. I'm so proud to be associated with this bunch of guys. They make me laugh. They also make me cry. Okay. But it's been a wonderful experience. I wouldn't trade it for the world. Like it's been stated, don't know if I'd go, you know, elect to do it again. But it's been a very, very special experience. And a lot of it is because of these fellows around me. Wouldn't trade them for anyone else in the world either. I graduated. After graduation, I went Navy. I was one of the minorities that went Navy. Flew helicopters, land pilot, stayed here for 8 years. I guess, you know, I just like to, you know, just tell these guys, you know, that I love them. You know, they mean an awful lot. And, you know, I do remember what Charles was saying there on that first day, it's 26th, I guess, of July 1968, when they said, look to your left, look to your right, one of you won't be here, you know. And it's kind of interesting to me that we started with 14, and 4 years later, 12 graduated, okay? So that's better than 85%. That's pretty good. And actually, 13 came out just a year later.
Yes.
So that's over 95% graduation rate. I don't know if anybody, any community can boast that kind of record. I have to major in math, so it's kind of fun playing with numbers. But we're not quitters, and I'm so glad and proud to be associated with these guys.
Appreciate that.